There's no picture of Meghan Markle graduating from that year in 2003.
The stories would come out. So apparently, according to other journalists, we found out that there were a lot of porcupines probably told to the royals and even to Harry when they met her. And in order to cover up,
what the hell's going on? Here's the book. Here's everything. Why do they have to lie about things like these? Because Meghan Markle clearly doesn't even know what she majored in. And the royal family went along with it.
Here are two pieces of paper, and they do not tell the same story. The first one comes straight from Northwestern University's own press office. Back in November 2017, the university announced that one of its former students had gotten engaged to a British prince. Sounds simple, right? But here's where it gets interesting.
She went on to double major in theater and international relations at Northwestern University in Evanston. This is the Monarchy's website, and people will look to it for factual, accurate, truthful information.
They clearly stated she graduated in 2003 with a double major in theater and international studies. Clean, official, and directly from the source. Not gossip, not guesswork, not some random site. Now look at the second paper. This one comes from British royal family's official website. After Meghan Markle became Duchess of Sussex in May 2018, her biography was published there for the world to see. But the wording, completely different. Instead of international studies, it suddenly says international relations. And not just that, it calls it a dual degree. Same woman, same university, same graduation year.
Meghan Markle graduated from Northwestern in 2003 with a double major in theater and international studies.
But two totally different academic claims sitting on two of the most trusted platforms out there. So now we've got a problem, a real one, because one of these institutions has to be wrong. And here's the key detail people keep missing. Northwestern University is the one that actually issued the degree. That makes their wording the correct one, which means the version published by the British royal family is the one that doesn't line up. And this wasn't some rushed mistake made overnight. The university's statement came out 6 months before the wedding. That's half a year to double-check, confirm, and make sure everything matches. Plenty of time. Enough time for any professional team to get it right. But somehow, no one fixed it. Then fast forward to March 2024, and suddenly, things get even stranger.
The website has been now updated. Prior to her marriage to the Duke of Sussex in 2018, and you can see that. Let's see what else it says. Biography's gone. During her time as a working member of the royal family, the Duchess became a patron, and that's about it. But about the Duchess of Sussex, this pretty much suits and the TIG. That's it. No more education, no more humanitarian, no more speaking Spanish, no more speaking English, French. I don't think she even speaks English. She speaks word salad.
When people started asking questions and looking closer, the entire education line just disappeared from the official site. No correction, no explanation, no statement saying, "We got this wrong." It was simply gone, just like that. So now the focus shifts. What exactly was published on the official site? Who had the responsibility to check it? And what does this say about how these kinds of mistakes are handled behind the scenes? Because this isn't just about wording, it's about credibility. A CV tied to the crown carries weight. Once it's stamped and published, it becomes part of the public record, and both versions, the universities and the palaces, are still out there for anyone to see. Now let's zoom in on the second major. Here's something you can verify yourself in seconds.
Northwestern University does not offer a standalone undergraduate international relations major, but it offers an international studies major adjunct major and a strong political science major with an international relations subfield. I don't understand where Meghan Markle got that she had a major in international relations when that has never been offered at the university.
Northwestern University does not offer a major called international relations. That's not an opinion, it's a fact. Their academic catalog is public. Their program listings are public. Search it, scroll through it, check every section. You won't find a standalone major with that name. What you will find are courses, references, and concentrations connected to political science, but not a full major called international relations. The closest match? The Roberta Buffett Institute for Global Affairs International Studies program. That's the actual name tied to international studies at the university. And even that comes with a twist. It's not a standalone major.
This is a completely different degree. It's the International Studies program. You cannot get a degree in international relations like the royal website falsely states. That is false. You can get a degree in International Studies program.
It's what the university calls an adjunct major, meaning you can't take it by itself. You have to pair it with a primary major from another department. It's an add-on, not the main track. Now follow that carefully. Meghan Markle was studying theater, and at Northwestern University, theater is part of the School of Communication. That school has its own structure, its own rules, and its own policies that are clearly outlined for applicants. And that's where things start to get even more specific. Now, here's where the structure really matters. Students inside the Northwestern University School of Communication are not allowed to double major within that same school. That's not a suggestion. That's a rule written right into their academic system. So whatever Meghan Markle studied, it had to follow a very specific setup.
It is not possible to double major in international studies and theater. Look that they say international studies and theater. First of all, because theater is not a degree. She could only have a dual degree, and the dual degree would have been international studies and communications. And they're not offered as such at Northwestern University, nor have they ever been offered as such. And it would have taken a minimum of 5 years because they're not allowed to double count.
And that setup looks like this. Theater as the primary major inside the School of Communication, and International Studies as an adjunct major coming from the Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences. Two fields, yes, but connected through a very particular structure that the university controls. That's the only configuration their own rules allow. And here's the key point people keep mixing up. That is not a dual degree. At Northwestern University, a dual degree means something very specific. It's not just wording. It's not interchangeable. It's a completely separate academic credential. The university's own catalog spells this out clearly, separating double major and dual degree in plain, direct language.
All dual degrees are done in a minimum of 5 years because they're dual degrees. You cannot use the courses or the credits from another course to apply to that different degree. You have to study both at the same time.
But the Palace biography didn't use double major, it used dual degree. Meanwhile, Northwestern's own press release, the one issued earlier, clearly said double major. Two different terms, two different meanings, two very different academic weights. And honestly, this isn't some hidden technicality. This is the kind of detail a junior communications staff member should catch in minutes. That's literally part of the job. Checking facts, matching official records, making sure nothing is off.
I just don't understand how the royal family went along with this without verifying this information, because they know full well that this, once they put it on the British monarchy's official website, it gives it credibility. So people don't really want to question it because people would assume that surely they vetoed this information or they verified it, right?
The biography on British royal family's website was reportedly drafted by the Kensington Palace team and then approved by Buckingham Palace web staff. These are professionals whose role is to verify exactly this kind of information. So either it was missed or it wasn't corrected. Now, some people might say, maybe Meghan provided that wording herself. Fair enough, let's follow that trail because this part actually has receipts. Go back to October 2013. Meghan Markle gave an interview to Marie Claire. At that time, she was mainly known for playing Rachel Zane on Suits. The interview had a personal tone. She talked about her background, her identity, her family, and her time at university. And then she described her degree, in her own words. She said she double majored in theater and international relations.
What did you study at college?
I double majored theater and international relations, and then I went and worked for the U.S. Embassy for a bit. And
Where?
In Argentina, in Buenos Aires.
That's sensational.
That phrasing matters, because now you can trace the timeline clearly. In 2013, she uses international relations in a magazine interview. After that, media outlets and tabloid bios start repeating the same phrase, lifting it directly. Over time, reference pages shift back and forth between terms. Then in 2018, the palace publishes her official biography and uses that exact same wording, international relations. But here's the issue. 6 months before that, in November 2017, Northwestern University had already published the correct version, International Studies. The issuing institution had already put the accurate information into the public record, and that means the palace had access to it. They had the official university statement. They had months of preparation leading up to a global event. They had teams responsible for verifying every detail. And still, they went with the magazine wording instead. Now pay attention to what happens next, because the timing raises even more questions.
I mean, you might say, maybe she said it once because she was confused. Maybe she doesn't know what she majored at university, right? But let's hear, because she went everywhere and she said the very same lie.
I did not know until today you're a smarty McSmarty in politics.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I studied international relations and theater.
February 13th, 2024, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle launch Sussex.com, a personal platform presenting their work and projects. March 14th, 2024, Meghan introduces her American Riviera Orchard brand on Instagram. Then, March 18th, 2024, just 4 days later, the palace quietly updates its official website. The individual biography pages for Harry and Meghan are merged into a single, shorter profile, around 500 words total. And in that process, the detailed education section, it disappears. No correction, no clarification, no acknowledgement, just gone.
Talk to Andrew Morton, talk to Tom Bauer. All of these people that have written books about her have been like, it's a struggle to get to the truth of who this female was before she meets Prince Harry.
That same evening, Hello magazine reports on the change, citing palace sources. The explanation given? A routine update, a simple refresh of content. Routine, after 6 years of the same wording being live. Now to be clear, I'm not sitting inside any palace office. I can't tell you exactly who wrote that original biography in 2018. But what can be seen clearly is what was published, and what was later removed when people started paying closer attention. At the start of March 2024, Meghan launches a new personal brand. Within weeks, the official Monarchy website removes a specific detail from her background. That sequence is on record.
I don't care what Meghan Markle says, guys. I really don't care. She can talk out of her white ass anything she wants to say. But for the monarchy to perpetuate this lie in an official website is serious business. I don't understand why none of the royal reporters are talking about it, questioning this. These lies were being gaslit. And this is not that, oh, it's Meghan's truth. No, these are facts. Meghan's truth or feelings, they don't matter. These are blatant lies that are being put out there.
Now step back and look at how small details like this actually grow into something bigger. When a biography is published on an official platform like British royal family's website, it doesn't just sit there quietly. It gets copied, quoted, screenshotted, and reused across dozens of other sources. Journalists rely on it. Databases pull from it. Even school projects and documentaries repeat it without question. That's how one line turns into fact almost overnight. So when the wording says dual degree in international relations, that phrase doesn't stay isolated. It spreads. It becomes part of the public image tied to Meghan Markle. And once it's repeated enough times, people stop checking where it came from in the first place. That's the real impact here. Because correcting something later doesn't undo the years it spent circulating. And removing it entirely without explanation, that creates a different kind of problem. It leaves a gap where a clear answer should be. So now you're left with two versions still floating around. One precise, one inconsistent, and no official line explaining why they don't match. The palace doesn't issue a correction, and that choice matters more than people think. Because corrections leave a trail. They create a record. They show what was wrong and when it was fixed. Instead, what happened here feels different.
The royal family quietly removes Meghan Markle's information. I mean, why didn't they check it? Everything about this woman is false, is fake, and the royal family has gone along with it. And rather than admitting to it, they just simply remove things from the website as though it never happened.
The two biography pages get merged into one, and just like that, the questionable wording disappears with it. No headline, no retraction, just silence, and a quiet edit that most people wouldn't even notice. And the timing? That's where it really starts to stand out. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle launched their own commercial-style website. New branding, new projects, a more independent public image. Then almost immediately after, the Crown's official site goes quiet on specific details in their bios, especially the ones that wouldn't hold up under close checking. That overlap raises eyebrows. If you want to understand what the palace knew, or at least what it became cautious about, look closely at what it stopped saying. Now, at the same time, something else starts spreading online.
The California Learning Resource Network is a website, it's an official government website that tells you what education anybody has who lives in the state of California, even if you didn't graduate from any university there. Did Meghan Markle graduate from Northwestern?
A site called clrn.org begins circulating in certain corners of the internet. At first glance, it looks official. The name sounds institutional. The layout gives off a government vibe. And the article it hosts makes a bold claim that Meghan never graduated from Northwestern University at all. Some channels start pointing to it as proof. They call it government-backed. They say it contradicts Northwestern. But that claim doesn't hold up when you actually check what the site is. Back in 1999, the California Department of Education did fund a real initiative under that name, the California Learning Resource Network. But its role was very specific. It reviewed K to 12 educational tools, software, and curriculum resources for schools. That was it. It had nothing to do with universities, nothing to do with transcripts, nothing to do with alumni verification.
Got this email back on January 4th, 2024. There's the name of the person, which I'll not show there. My name is So, and I'm a current student and admissions officer. It is not possible to double major in international studies and theater. Look that they say international studies and theater. First of all, because theater is not a degree, okay? She could only have a dual degree, and the dual degree would have been international studies and communications, and they're not offered as such at Northwestern University, nor have they ever been offered as such, and it would have taken a minimum of 5 years because they're not allowed to double count.
Eventually, the funding stopped. The original project ended, but the domain, clrn.org, stayed online. And today, it's run by someone else entirely. The biggest clue is sitting right at the bottom of the page. Scroll down and you'll see a disclosure. The site is part of the Amazon Services LLC Associates program. That's not optional. It's a legal requirement when a site earns commission from affiliate links. Real government agencies don't run affiliate marketing pages. Check the contact section and it gets even more obvious. The phone numbers listed? 209-555-1234 and 209-555-5678. Those aren't real. The 555 prefix is widely used in films and television specifically because it's not assigned to actual users. A legitimate state agency would never list non-working placeholder numbers. So now look at the situation clearly. On one side, you have Northwestern University, the institution that issued the degree. Their communications office confirms it. Their alumni association confirms it. Even faculty members who taught Meghan Markle have gone on record confirming she graduated in 2003. On the other side, you have a repurposed domain running affiliate links with fictional contact details. Yet somehow, that site starts getting treated as if it carries equal or even greater authority. And that shift doesn't happen randomly. It happens because of silence. When the British royal family doesn't clarify, doesn't correct, and doesn't defend what's on record, it leaves space. And the internet doesn't leave empty space for long. Something always fills it.
It is a blatant lie because now the royal family have also removed that she spoke Spanish. Why isn't she talking about her 3-month stint with the host family at the IES Spanish University in Europe?
In this case, it's a questionable site stepping in where an official voice could have shut things down immediately. That's not about one person anymore. That's about how information gets handled, or not handled, at the highest level. Because when there's no clear answer from the source people expect to hear from, anything that sounds convincing can start to take its place. The idea that the palace stays silent because it doesn't know what to do doesn't really hold up. They do have a playbook, and we've seen it in action before. Look at what happened with Prince Andrew. On October 30th, 2025, King Charles III moved forward with a formal process to remove Andrew's styles, titles, and honors. This wasn't vague or informal. It was documented. By November 3rd, 2025, official letters patent were dated and signed. The change was real, structured, and recorded. Andrew lost the HRH style in print. His name shifted to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Then on November 5th, 2025, the London Gazette published the formal notice. That's the official side. But now look at the digital side, the public-facing version. On British royal family's website, his individual biography page simply disappeared. No announcement explaining it, no correction note, no due to recent developments statement, nothing. One day it was there. The next day, it wasn't. Anyone who had the page bookmarked hit a dead link. That's how people noticed. Not because the palace explained it, but because it was gone. Media outlets like LBC and News Nation picked up on that absence and reported on it.
For the record, this website now is July the 2nd, 2025, because I just showed you another video that I did about 16 months ago, which I will leave in the links below, where you see that there's a completely different absolute crap about Meghan Markle.
The palace itself never stepped in to clarify. And that pattern? It's not new. Observers, including longtime royal coverage voices like those at BBC, have watched this approach for decades. The method is simple. Don't explain, don't engage. Let time pass. In Andrew's case, the silence followed years of global headlines and legal pressure. In Meghan's case, the silence follows a detail that doesn't hold up under closer checking. Two completely different situations, but the same response. Delete. Don't explain the deletion. Let the public figure it out. That consistency is the real story, because when you look at how rare it is for the royal household to issue a clear written correction, it stands out. Think about major moments, from Edward VIII's era, through the fallout involving Princess Diana, all the way to modern interviews and controversies. There's a pattern. You don't see the kind of sentence every standard news outlet would publish without hesitation. The previous version contained an error and has been corrected. That language just doesn't appear in royal communications, and there's a structural reason behind that. Under the Freedom of Information Act 2000, the royal household isn't classified as a public authority. That means normal transparency rules don't apply. You can't file a request asking who drafted a specific biography. You can't trace the editorial chain. You can't demand internal clarification. The system doesn't require it. So the Crown operates in a space where it can publish information, remove information, and never formally explain either action. And that leaves everyone else, readers, journalists, commentators, piecing things together on their own, which is where silence stops being neutral. Because when there's a clear discrepancy and no clarification follows, that silence starts to shape the narrative just as much as any statement would. So bring all of this together. The palace published a version of a degree title that didn't match what Northwestern University had officially stated.
What are the royal family going to do? They owe us an explanation. They do need to confirm, because we do need to expose absolutely this terrible woman for who she is, a liar. Why isn't anybody talking about her 3-month stint in Spain? Why? The university didn't have any exchange agreement with them, so which means that her classes would not have been valid. Where is that infamous host family? Why haven't they come and claimed Meghan Markle? It's insanity at its worst. And now the board, that website is a government website where they take all the information from universities. Meghan Markle never returned to university.
The university's communication in November 2017 used one set of terms. The palace, in May 2018, used another. There were 6 months in between, enough time to verify, align, and correct. But that didn't happen. That version then stayed live on the official site for nearly 6 years. During that time, it didn't just sit there. It spread. Reference works picked it up. Articles repeated it. Even the Canadian Encyclopedia reflected the palace's exact wording: dual degree in theater and international relations. And according to its edit history, that phrasing was still in place as of March 2025. That's after the palace itself had already removed the detail. That's how this kind of information expands. One official line gets copied, repeated, and reinforced until it exists in multiple places, even after the original source quietly steps back from it. Once the Crown stamps something, it doesn't just stay on one website. It spreads. A line published on British royal family's platform doesn't remain contained. It moves into articles, databases, profiles, and reference pages across the internet. That's how it becomes part of the historical record, and once it's out there, removing it from one site doesn't pull it back from everywhere else. That's the part people often overlook. Then in March 2024, just 4 days after Meghan Markle introduced her American Riviera Orchard brand, the palace made a quiet change. The Sussex biographies were merged into a shorter, shared version. And in that process, the detailed education line disappeared. No correction, no statement, just absence. Now, to be clear, this isn't about questioning whether she graduated. Northwestern University has already confirmed that. Their communications office stated it. Faculty members confirmed teaching her. The Alumni Association acknowledged her publicly. Those are solid first-level institutional facts. What's being questioned is something else entirely: what the palace chose to publish and what it chose to do when that wording didn't hold up under closer attention. Because the palace isn't just an observer in this situation, it's the publisher. And that changes the responsibility. The simple version of the story, the one that spreads easily, is Meghan lied. That angle shows up again and again, but the more complicated version asks a different question. How did one of the most experienced communications operations in the world publish wording that didn't match the issuing university, let it circulate for years, and then remove it without acknowledging it? That's a different level of scrutiny, because at that point, the focus shifts away from an individual's CV and toward institutional decisions. Who approved the 2018 biography at Buckingham Palace? Why wasn't the discrepancy corrected earlier? And why, when the wording started getting attention, was it removed without explanation? Those aren't abstract questions. They have answers. But so far, none have been clearly given. If you made it this far, drop a comment and tell me what you think. I read everything, and your thoughts genuinely help shape what I cover next. And don't forget to subscribe to Crown Clash. I post new videos every single day, so there's always more coming. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.